let's see. I played Notre Dame. What's this line at now? Notre Dame is 2.5.
Mm-hmm.
I played some 3 early in the week. I would wait, kind of a dead zone now to see if it hits 3 again. I still like it at 2.5 though. I think Notre Dame wins this game. This is just a bad spot for Syracuse. Potential letdown, right? Like now all of their unrealistic aspirations and hopes and dreams are gone. Like you're not winning the ACC now. You can't go to the college football playoff. Like, right, all these things that the kids were thinking as an undefeated team. You come back, you play Notre Dame, a little bit of a letdown here, noon kick, even if it's in Carrier Dome. And my suspicions were confirmed about this Syracuse team that they weren't that good. I mean, they almost lost to a bad Virginia team who went 1 of 3 on 4th down and missed both field goal attempts. Syracuse won by 2 at home. And then they should have lost to a beat up Purdue team. Well, that 80% post game win expectancy. And then last week, yeah, they covered, but they were outgained by about 170 yards. They really benefited from turnovers, and I just didn't come away impressed. Now, Notre Dame's been very inconsistent on a week-to-week basis. The one consistent aspect of the Irish, they've been good away from home. They hung around at Ohio State. They outplayed BYU, dominated them on a neutral site, and then they crushed North Carolina, which looks more impressive now, on the road. And then this just comes down to a matchup advantage for me. Notre Dame could lean on its ground game. They're top 25 nationally in almost every run blocking metric, and they're going up against a Syracuse defense that doesn't defend the run well. They're 115th in the country in both rush success rate and EPA per rush. And they also lost all 3 starting defensive linemen from last year, and they've lost multiple defensive linemen to injury. They also might be without their star cornerback, Garrett Williams, again. So, I just think Notre Dame could control the line of scrimmage here and control the clock, move the chains, get in easy passing situations. And, the Orange should have some success running it, but there's going to be enough negative plays that Notre Dame can make with its pass rush, which is the strength of its defense. 14th in sack rate against a bad offensive line and pass protection for Syracuse. Also, the penalties. Notre Dame not penalized much at all. They're well coached in that department. And Syracuse has a lot of penalty problem. And also, just from a regression standpoint, Notre Dame is dead last in the country in takeaways. They're going to get some soon. I think they come here. Since 2005, no team has turned a larger profit against ranked opponents than the Irish. I think they add another one here. Give me Notre Dame.
Yeah, I'm going to join you. I just can't figure out if I'm doing 2.5 or if I'm doing money line. And when I first started down this journey, I thought I was going to be on Syracuse because if you look at Notre Dame's schedule, it's like they have a boost because in finishing drives against UNLV, they had 11 trips inside the 40 for 44 points. Almost the exact same numbers against UNC's defense. And then a loss to Stanford, there was just 3 offensive drives past the 40, and then in 9 trips against BYU, just 24 points. The Irish are facing defenses that are outside the top 75, and they've built their offensive numbers against some pretty poor defenses. So I kind of have to take these Notre Dame numbers and set them aside. I can't just automatically assume all this green that I see in the Syracuse defense is going to dominate this pretty one-dimensional, boring, conservative Notre Dame offense. So let's talk about what the real handicap in this game is. The great news is that Drew Pine has not made really any mistakes this year. He's had 2 turnover-worthy plays this season and 166 dropbacks. Half of his 8 big-time throws came against UNLV last week. So his ADOT 7.6, 9.4. It's been going up week after week. But again, Stanford and UNLV. But what is the main driver behind this Notre Dame offense? It's Michael Mayer, the tight end. It's hitting the tight end over the middle, and Syracuse is going to have to learn to defend the tight end because every other pass target from Pine is going to go to Michael Mayer. Notre Dame is going to have a ton of success there. Let's just go ahead and look and see what Syracuse has done against tight ends the past couple of weeks. Clemson's most explosive play last week came from tight end Davis Allen versus Syracuse. He had 3 catches for 51 yards. NC State's most explosive pass with their backup quarterback was the tight end Christopher Tootle. Tight ends had 4 targets, 4 catches total, 2 of them there. Syracuse does have great defensive numbers. They have not been able to keep tight ends from having explosive plays. So And there's a lot of Syracuse players that got beat up. The defense got beat up against Clemson. Corner Garrett Williams, the third leading tackler, missed some time previously. He's more banged up now. Top tackler Marlo Wax, starting corner Deuce Chestnut, and linebacker Derek McDonald were all off the field with injury last week during the games. These are some of their top tacklers on the team. So
Yeah,
I'm
they've
not
already
sure.
lost two defensive linemen. Their depth there is young and thin.
Yeah, I don't know if they have the defense right now that is at full strength or even half strength to try even defend tight end Michael Meyer. So fitting right before Halloween, we're talking about Michael Meyer.
Michael
You know,
Meyer, I think.
yeah. So the place to attack Syracuse is on the ground. They're outside the top 100 line yards and stuff rate. And Notre Dame kind of has a three-headed running back unit with Tyree Diggs and Estime, but they're serviceable, not explosive. And if you go over to the Syracuse side, the reason why you can fade them is Sean Tucker's really hurt. He limped off the field last week against Clemson. He had 5 carries for 54 yards. He had 8.8 yards after contact, but he's limping off the field. I mean, he's giving everything that he can, and he's almost got nothing left. And this is all stemming back to Tucker leaving the Wagner game at the end. He had 225 rushing yards, and he limped off the field then. He just can't get healthy. So the offensive line against Clemson had plenty of breakdowns, missed assignments, penalties. Notre Dame is going to win this game because Syracuse is going to penalty themselves out. They're too beat up at the running back position. Their defense is completely bruised up. Half the starters won't even be in the game, and nobody has been able to defend the tight end position the last 2 weeks against Clemson and NC State. So I'm with you on Notre Dame.